It's 7 o'clock. We're going to call the meeting to order. Before the adoption of the agenda, we have one item to add if there's a consensus for 14.1 in closed session, rural internet. So I think it's important we add that tonight. Yep. So if everybody's in favor of that addition.
9.7.
Oh, yeah, as well. If it's possible on the agenda, move 9.7, the motion to adopt the 2020-2021 municipal operating budget, to 9.1 and then adjust all the numbers following that. So the first motion will be the adoption of the budget, and then following that will be all the motions associated with the budget. So those are the two, the addition and the changes. So if council is okay with that, I need a motion to adopt the agenda.
I move we adopt the agenda.
Moved by Danny.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Carl. All in favor?
Aye.
Contrary?
Aye.
Motion carried. 2B, declaration of conflict of interest. Are there any items on the agenda that could put you in a conflict? Hearing none. 3, presentations. We have no presentations tonight. 4, adoption of the minutes. 4.1, March 18, 2020, regular council meeting. Are there any errors or omissions?
I move we adopt
the.
Moved by Brian, seconded by Danny. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. 4.2, April 1st, 2020, council and committee meeting. Are there any errors or omissions?
I move to adopt the minutes of April 1st.
I'll second that.
Moved by Councillor Devo, seconded by Councillor Thibeault. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. 5, business arising from the previous council meetings. There's nothing there. 6, warden activity report. So my report's in French. I'm going to try to translate it on the fly, so hopefully it'll work. The 26th of March, I attended a teleconference with the Conseil des Gouverneurs at the University Saint-Anne, a meeting there. The 5th of April, I had an interview with CBC Radio to discuss the press release concerning the canoe trip. 6th of April, another interview regarding the same press release with CJLS, and another one later that same day with Yarmouth County Vanguard. So the press release was really reach, and I think it did have a positive effect. And from what I hear, there was very few, if no, people participating at all. So that's very good. 6th of April, another teleconference call with the Conseil de Développement Économique de la Nouvelle-Écosse to adopt the new strategic plan for 2020-2023. April 7th, interview with CFAT to discuss again the press release and other matters relating to COVID-19. And the 9th of April, assisted a teleconference call with Gordon Wilson, Warden Jimmy McAlpine, the Mayor Ben Cleveland, and the CEOs, including Steve, to talk about issues relating to COVID-19. So that's my report. I don't know if you have any questions. If not, we'll go to 7, official statements from members of council. Are there any official statements? We'll go to 8, correspondence. I don't believe we have any correspondence tonight. We'll go to 9, presentation of the 2020-2021 operational budget and corresponding motions. 9.1, motion to adopt. So we'll present Jeanette will present the budget before we make a motion.
So if I can, just as a short intro, we're pleased to, on behalf of Jeanette, myself, and the rest of the staff here, present council with a balanced budget of $9,570,633 for fiscal 2020-2021. We're also pleased to present this budget with no increase to either the residential or commercial tax rates for the municipality of Clare for the upcoming fiscal year. So with that said, I'll turn it over to Jeanette to walk us through the budget. For those listening, keeping in mind that council has had the chance to review this budget and discuss it extensively at our committee of the whole meeting on April 1st. But that being said, we'll go through the budget, and if council has any questions, we'll certainly be happy to answer them. Yeah, I'll just bring up the budget on the screen here.
There we go.
There you go.
You there? Okay.
So if we move on to page 2. Okay, on page 2, you see the net taxable assessment for residential property is 756,600. Resource property assessment is 41,452,600, and commercial property is 68,273,600, for a total of 592,482,800. If we multiply that with our tax rates of 1.04 for residential and resource, and 2.07 for commercial, the total income is $6,865,039. It represents an increase of $96,091 over what we had last year, which isn't much considering that we had $10 million of building permits in the year 2019-2020. At the bottom of the page, highlighted in yellow, is what the increase of 1 cent would represent to our budget. So altogether, it would be $59,248. We move on to page 3. Let me know when you want to stop for questions, please. If we go to account number 11182, area rate collected for fire departments, that's the 5 cent that is on the tax bills, represents $296,241. Sorry about that. The next one is for the fire truck, which represents $355,490. And then we have an area rate for streetlights income of $23,275. That income is a wash because it's also the same amount for the expenses. If we go down to 11910, the deed transfer tax is estimated at $105,000. Now, this could change with the situation we're in right now because real estate is not moving as quickly as it used to. The next one, 4,600, is for the private road maintenance, bylaw 34. This is like the streetlights, it's a wash, it's an income and also an expense because we're collecting the taxes to remit afterwards. Looking at the Church Point sewer services, we're looking at an income of $47,200. The Metegan River and Metegan Center sewer services, $102,000. Biddeford Cove sewer services, $13,400. The total grant in year of taxes expected for this year is $153,828. This is determined by the province. We don't have any say on this. This is what the province has confirmed that they would be paying for the grants in lieu of taxes. We move on to page 4. Projected income for the landfill transfer station tipping fees and white goods is $310,000. There's been a little increase. It's a $5 increase on commercial tipping fees. And in this account, we expect fluctuations due to the COVID-19. Like, it's very hard to predict what's going to happen with this one. Right now, the transfer station is closed to everybody except for businesses. So for this month, definitely the tipping fees will be lower than expected. If we go down to account 15301, RET, the Clare Health Center, we're expecting $254,132. The rent at the Cultural Hub, $12,000. The Eco Park rent is $10,500 expected due to a possible sale in August. It's much lower than what we received last year. If we look at the return on investment, we estimated $40,000. Again, interest rates have dropped considerably at this time, and if we're using every reserve that we have, definitely that our return on investment won't be as high. Penalties and interest on taxes, we had estimated $90,000. This again, depending on how things turn out, and with the interest relief that will be approved tonight, it'll probably be lower. If we go down to Grand Fondo revenue, we have $137,000 estimated. Tourism revenue is estimated at $93,200. You might notice a big difference with the actual from the previous year. That's due to the public spaces project, and it's moving forward. The recreation revenue is estimated at $36,400. These predictions were done before, and they correspond to expenses. So of course, if the revenues are lower, the expenses will also be lower. So it should work out in the end. If we move to page 5, equalization grant, what we received from the province was confirmation that it'll stay the same this year. We estimated $40,000 for the bilingualism grant that we received last year to reflect what we received last year. But of course, we will ask for more to reflect the actual cost of having all of our services bilingual. And then we have the Communauté Accueillante, which is a federal program where the municipality of Clare was recognized as a welcoming community to the French immigrants in Canada, and that will bring us a $94,000 income, extra income that will be expensed towards activities for the people coming in from other countries.
A variety of activities in communication it'll basically be focusing on communication activities as well as activities to better integrate those new arrivals to the community, to basically help them facilitate their transition or their integration into the community.
So that's all the revenues. Maybe we could pause there and is there any questions regarding the revenue side? I know a lot of questions were asked at the Committee of Council meeting, but maybe there are other questions that you'd like to ask. We're going for the last time. Any other questions? Any questions on the revenue side? So we'll continue on the expenses.
So on page 6, low income exemptions and appeals, we are estimating $150,000. Council honorarium was increased by 2.2%, which is the cost of living for 2019. Council mileage and conferences was reduced to 28,000. You will notice in the whole budget we reduced all mileage and conferences due to the cancellation of many conferences at this time because of the coronavirus. If you go down to account 21112, expected expense on that one is for simultaneous translation, $13,000. And then the next one is translation of documents, $7,000. That's the cost for having everything in both languages. In the IT maintenance contract, account 21242, we have $30,000, which is a contract that we have for the IT system. This is split with the Clare Health Center. In account 21293 solicitor, we are allowing $13,000 for the year. In account 21299, we have $26,594 expense. In account 21311, office equipment and small furniture, we are keeping it very low at 2,000 because whenever we purchase furnishings for the office, we try to put it through the capital budget. That way we increase our assets. Looking at the account 21248 assessment services, that's with the Provincial Valuation Assessment Office. An expense of $257,120. That's a 1% increase from last year. Election publicist boundary review and other. It's for the elections coming up in October. We are budgeting $25,000. Mileage training conferences, we lowered it to $22,000 this year. Insurance property on property and liability. For the administration, it's $42,207, but we have $107,179 total for the municipality, but it's divided through different departments. This year we added cyber coverage. Wastewater, we had an increase in infrastructure also. So it explains a little bit the reasoning behind the increase this year. Grants to organizations was left at $40,000.
So I'll go through the grants that were approved by council quickly here. So Southwest Nova ATV Association, $1,000. That's year 2 of 3 that was approved last year for a 3-year period. Bibliothèque Sénateur Ambroise Ashkomo, the library, $300 for Adopt a Book campaign. CACA Leclerc, 3,000 approved for purchase of 3 beach accessible wheelchairs. So that's part of the project. J&M Foster for cats, 1,322 for purchase of cage kennels, carriers. Société Expo d'Art de Saint-Bernard, $1,000 for a laptop. Clare Bluegrass Association, $5,000, new canteen building. Clare Physiotherapy Clinic. This is for the creation of a new program, summer program for with student wage subsidies. It's the Clare Special Olympics and La Petite Académie for $1,964. La Guilde Acadienne de Clare, $424 for equipment. Far Out Festival, $500. I guess for a capital there. The stage, yeah. La Fanfare Régionale de Clare, $1,150. Rails to Trails, $4,000 for maintenance and upkeep of the trail. Clare Golf and Country Club, $5,000 for part of the purchase of a new mower. La Commission du Développement du Moulin à Musée de Bangor, the Bangor Museum, picnic bench and other small items for the museum. Clare Curling Club, $5,000 for a project concerning filtering and exterior siding of screws. Salmon River Salmon Association, $1,500 for some equipment. And the Metegan Park, $1,200 for fencing at the Metegan Park. So that's the list of the grants to organizations.
So if we keep going on page 7, RCMP costs were increased by 1.3% at $1,127,039. Corrections is increased to $118,475. Going down to the animal control, what is paid to the SPCA Nova Scotia represents $21,600. We do not expect any increases this year. For the fire departments, general operations will be $266,697. There was a 2.2% increase on that expense, same as the cost of living. Firefighters workers' compensation, in October 2020, the province is asking municipalities to pay for workers' compensation for every firefighters, volunteer or full-time. This is based on a $10,200 per firefighters, and it's at a rate of 47 cents. So we estimated 170 firefighters for 6 months would represent $4,075. On account 22402, capital purchases from the area rate, there's $129,000 that will be used for that. And then $350,000, which will be used for a new vehicle, the purchase of a vehicle, I shouldn't say new, but a vehicle. Going down to 22510, EMO operations, we dedicate $10,000 for that. And $5,000 is dedicated for the Clare Search and Rescue. And that includes insurance that we pay for Clare Search and Rescue of $793. If we go down to the building inspections and development officers, account 22298, conventions and training. We lowered that to 18,500, again, due to cancellations of courses and conventions. Account 22299, supplies, we lowered to $3,000. Security for seniors, we have $38,702 dedicated for that account. Moving on to page 8, Transport de Clare, 25,000 is dedicated to Transport de Clare. Snow removal, that's according to the contract we have, $46,107. Here we have next to account 23234, private road maintenance, bylaw 34. It's the wash, the in and out from the income. Now that's the expense. Same thing with the street lights, 23,275. It was an income, now it's an expense. Moving on to page 9. For the sewers, environmental health services, training and conferences, we left at 3,500 because there's certification requirements that have to be met. Going down to the Public Works Garage in Belleville Cove, which is the old St. Bernard Fire Hall. 3,500 is what is allocated for hydro and heat. Going down to
Seven.
Did you have a question?
We're still on page 7. We can only see page 7 here on the screen.
Oh, and we're showing page 9.
Okay. Not sure what's going on there.
Are the others having the same problem?
I'm seeing page 9.
Well, I'll follow on my laptop.
Sorry about that. Little technical difficulties. Okay, if we go down to sewage treatment plant operations for Meteghan, supplies and repairs, we estimated $18,350, plus a $12,000 that will be in the capital budget for equipment replacement and upgrades. Going down to the Belleville Cove, there's a $10,900 budgeted for supplies and repairs, $8,800 extra in the capital budget also for equipment replacement and upgrades. If we move on to page 10, solid waste services. Garbage and waste collections, that's the contract we have for collecting garbages. $483,494 is budgeted for that. Transfer station operations is $53,000, which includes 40 hours of excavator work for the C&D. The landfill closure, we have $45,000 budgeted. If ever we had extra unforeseen expenses, we always have the option of going to the landfill reserve to cover those expenses. Account 24321, recycling tipping fees, the blue bags, it's $104,000. Organic tipping fees estimated at $73,000. Queens tipping fees, $363,456. We were advised that there would be a 2% increase, so we increased it by that amount. If we go down to account 24341, waste check, There was we were advised of a 2.5% increase, bringing the expense up to $24,019. And then community cleanup program, we have budgeted $10,000. Unfortunately, it could not happen this spring, but it'll be taken, or it'll move on in the fall. The intention is to have it happen in the fall. This is all again due to the coronavirus. Moving on to page 11, the Clare Health Center. I'll bring your attention to account 25510, where we budgeted $8,000, lower than last year. Medical supplies is budgeted at $18,000, but this could be much more with the COVID-19 crisis. Med Access is $22,632 for the year. IT support, $21,866. Travel and training, this one was increased by $1,000 due to a new manager, which may need extra training. Going down to account 25570, $25,000. That includes our training contract of $756 per month. The doctor recruitment and incentive is budgeted at $5,000. That's for care packages sent to medical students, and it also should cover trips needed to University of Sherbrooke if need be. We can always use the operating reserve to cover recruitment if needed. Account 28233, Housing Commission, the operating deficit. We estimated $38,000. We used the average of the last 5 years to come to this amount. Moving on to page 12. The total for environmental planning and zoning is $9,000. That cost is associated to the implementation and revisions of bylaws. And then the REN, $45,621, that was confirmed with the Regional Enterprises Network. Moving on to page 13. I hope everybody's keeping their questions. We estimated for tourism $282,728. That seems like a huge increase compared to last year, but we have to keep in mind that the public spaces expenses, the project is, the expenses are in here. There's also a revenue to accompany that. The Grand Fondo expense is $152,000. The revenue was $137,000 without the municipal contribution. So the difference in expenses will be covered with the municipal contribution, will be the municipal contribution. There's $50,000 allocated to the CMA 2024. That's the second payment of 5. And then Communauté Accueillante, we have $102,000 dedicated for that project. If we go down in building and facilities to the Western Regional Library, $53,377, that was not confirmed. It's an amount that we hope will stay the same. Going down to the Meteghan Park, we have $4,200 for the operations of Meteghan Park. In the Eco Park insurance, $11,279. That amount will probably not be the actual. If the sale closure happens, we'll have a refund from the insurance company on that one. And the operations are estimated at $10,000. Again, expecting a sale closure in August. We have $20,000 reserved for the Festival Acadien, $1,000 for the Production Le Moulin, and $500 for the Clare Curling Association. That's a 5-year commitment council approved. And it's the first payment of 5. Université Sainte-Anne this year, we did not budget anything for them. We are holding off as we have $50,000 in reserve for projects to the university. Rather than budget an amount, we thought that we could use the yearly surplus and remit accordingly on a yearly basis. And then there's $5,000 committed to the Yarmouth Hospital Foundation. Moving on to page 14, the school board contribution this year was increased by 1.5% to $1,808,213. And those are the expenses for the year.
So are there any questions regarding the expenses? I know there was a lot of questions asked at the Committee of Council, so I don't anticipate many questions. The councils were very comfortable with the budget as presented last time. So I think, seeing no questions, I think a motion to adopt the municipal operating budget is in order. If somebody would like to make the motion.
Everybody's muted, I don't know.
Yeah, I think you might be muted, so.
I'll make the motion.
Okay, Yvon, Conseil Leblanc. You have to read it,
Yeah.
just making sure.
Wasn't too prepared for that one. Somebody else want to read it?
Yeah,
I can read it.
I can make the motion.
all right, Brian, go ahead.
Okay, I'll say in French or English, does it matter?
Well, English probably better since we don't have any.
Okay. Okay, I move that the 2020-2021 operational budget for the municipality of the District of Clare be approved as presented on Wednesday, April 15th, 2020.
Is there a seconder for the motion?
I'll
Yvon?
second it.
All right, seconded by Councillor Hill. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. We'll go to 9.2. We'll go through the other motions associated with the budget. Motion to adopt the sewer service charges. Is there anybody prepared to make that motion?
I can do that.
Oh, whoops, yeah, sorry, my error. Motion to adopt the municipal tax rate. Councillor DeVoe?
I move that the that the municipal taxes, tax rate for the municipality of the District of Clare for 2020-21 is set as follows: $1.04 per $100 as assessment, sorry, as the residential and resource tax rate, the same as it's the same rate since 2014 actually, and $2.07 per $100 of assessment as the commercial tax rate, and that's the same rate since 2010, and 25 cents per acre below 50,000 acres, and 40 cents per acre above 50,000 acres as the forest acreage rates.
Was there a seconder for that motion?
I can second that one.
Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. 9.2, motion to adopt sewer service charges. Anybody prepared to make that motion?
I can make the motion.
Councillor Potier,
I move that the municipality sewer service charge for 2020-2021 be set at $200 per unit for the following: Meteghan Center, Meteghan River, Church Point, and Bellows Cove.
there's a seconder for the motion.
I can second that.
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor DeVoe. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Contrary, nay. Motion carried. 9.4, motion to adopt streetlights area rate. Somebody prepared to make that
I'll
motion?
make the motion. I'll
Councillor-
make the motion. You ready?
Yeah,
Okay. I move that the 2020-2021 rates for streetlights be set as follows. Highway 1 and Patrice Road, Church Point, $50.48. Highway 1, Little Brook and Camoville, $31.50. Highway 1, Soniaville, $44.88. Highway 1, Meteghan River, $47.39. Placide Camo Road, Meteghan River, $59.86. Highway 1, Peter Dugal Road, Meteghan, $31.07. John Thibodeau Road, Meteghan Center, $829.51 with only one user. Highway 1, St. Bernard and Bellows Cove, $17.15.
there's a seconder for the motion.
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councillor Thibault. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. 9.5, motion to adopt fire department rates. Someone prepared to make that motion?
I can do that.
Motion.
Councillor Thibault,
I move that the 2020-2021 fire department rate be set as follows. Fire protection, 5 cents per $100 of assessment. 5 truck approaches, 6 cents per $100 of assessment.
the seconder for the motion.
I can second that one.
Seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All those in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. 9.6, motion to adopt the council write-offs. Anybody prepared to make that motion?
I can move that one.
Councilor DeVoe,
I move that the council of the municipality, the district of Clare, write off the following noted tax amounts for the reasons described herein. The first one is account number 04031008. It's the amount of 24,700, and it's a 20,000 year fire damage, 2020, the year. And the other one is 04106881 for the amount of 61,600. And the year is 2020, and it's again fire damage. And the third one is number 02491354 for the amount of $14,000, and the year is 2020, and again, it's for fire damage.
is there a seconder for that motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Deputy Warden Dusa. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. 9.6, motion to adopt due date and interest commencing, that was 9.7, excuse me. I don't know, Stefan, if you want to speak a little bit before we make that motion.
Certainly. Every year, as part of the budget, council has to set a due date for the issuance of the municipality's tax bills, as well as a due date according to which, as of which interest on overdue accounts will start to accrue. Last year's due date for the municipal tax bills was June 30th, and the interest started to accrue as of August 1st or June 31st. So essentially, residents were giving 1 month of interest relief. This year, council has had quite a bit of discussion on the subject regarding COVID-19 and obviously the circumstances surrounding the virus and the financial hardships or the stress or the pressures that it's placed on both our residents and our businesses throughout the municipality. And the consensus around the council table was that we did not want to be seen as adding to those pressures. At the same time, we do have to manage the municipality's finances, and a lot of our revenue or a lot of our budget and the services that we offer are driven by the tax revenue that we collect. So it's a question of somewhat of a balancing act between what we want to do to provide to aid our residents and our businesses, while at the same time being responsible stewards of the municipality's finances. So with that being said, the discussion or what's being recommended to council this evening for your consideration is that the due date for the municipal tax bills be delayed by 1 month or 30 days from June 30th to July 31st. As well, that the interest relief period be extended from 1 month to 3 months. So the interest, rather than start accruing as of July 31st, would only start accruing as of September 30th. So again, a 1 month extension on the due date for the tax bills, and then a 2 month extension on the interest relief period. Again, the reason for that is council wanting to aid where they can, both residences and businesses throughout the municipality. For those residents or businesses where the 1 month extension or the 2 additional months of interest relief aren't enough, please let us know, give us a call. We're certainly prepared to sit down with you and see what we can come to in terms of an arrangement. But again, for those of you, both residents and businesses who are in a position to pay their tax bills as they come due, we would strongly encourage you to do so, again, because the services that we continue to offer in the municipality, such as access to the Clare Health Centre, the transfer station, and others, are bought and paid for by tax dollars. So for those of you who can afford to pay, we would kindly ask that you please do so.
So we'll make the motion and then we can open up the motion for discussion for if councilors want to ask questions or express themselves on that motion. So anyone prepared to make that motion?
I'll be prepared to make the motion.
Councilor Khan?
Yes, okay, so I move that the due date for the payment of 2021 municipal taxes be July 31st, 2020, and the interest rate be 1.5% per month beginning on September 30th.
There's a seconder for that motion.
I'd like to second that.
Seconded by Councilor DeVoe. Any discussion on the motion? The only point I'd raise is that both the NSFM is working with the province to look at ways that could alleviate some of the pressure on municipalities, as well as the FCM is working with the federal government to do the same. So the way I see it is, this is what I think, going by the recommendation of our Director of Finance and our CAO, is that it's a good balance. But in saying that, if somehow that the federal government or the province did provide some programs that would offer some sort of deferral, I mean, council would then look at how we can help specific businesses or people that are in trouble. But it's like the CEO said, it's a fine balance. We have to operate. And like he said, the areas, especially around the health center, garbage pickup and those police services, fire services, those are all things that have to keep going. So I echo the CAO's comments that if people who are able and willing can pay, should pay, because it allows us to be more lenient with those that are having difficulty. So is there any other discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. And on behalf of council, I'd just like to thank Jeanette, the Director of Finance, and Monsieur C, CEO, for a really good budget. They worked extremely hard on it because this year was a difficult year for sure. And we're very, very pleased with the work you've done. And the residents of Clare are very fortunate to have you working on that budget for us. So thank you again on behalf of council and all the residents of Clare.
Thank you.
So from there, we'll go to 10, presentation of the 2020-2021 capital budget.
Okay, I'm going to try to bring it up on the screen.
There you go.
Yep.
You're on.
Does everyone see it? Okay.
Yep.
Yep.
So I'll go through this quickly. Again, it's the same budget, capital budget that was presented to council on April 1st as part of the committee of the whole meeting. So this budget, we're proposing a total municipal contribution of $1,562,355. That amount is essentially divided between two funds, our capital reserve and our gas tax. The highlight of this budget is our continued investment in rural broadband, or more specifically, our fiber to the home internet project. As called for in our contribution agreement with Mainland, we're projecting a $1 million contribution as part of our in this fiscal year, as part of our $2.45 million contribution that we agreed to over 4 years. Again, this $1 million contribution is paid for through our federal gas tax allocations. What that means is it is in no way impacts the residential or commercial tax rates paid for by residents and businesses of the community. If we scroll down, the next part is municipal parks, which are some modest investments there in Wentworth. 2 benches, some new garbage bins. Again, very modest investments there. Beneath that, we're looking at $105,000 for the Clare Health Center. The lion's share of that is a $75,000 allotted for a generator, which would allow us to operate the building in the instance of a power outage. Obviously, that has EMO implications as well, but also given the current state that we're in with the virus, it also has a added importance there. The remaining $30,000 is an upgrade to energy efficient lighting, which has been discussed for some time now. The return on investment of that $30,000 is believed to be 3 years. So again, it's the project is certainly worthwhile. It's certainly a worthwhile investment for us. Moving next, we see Meteghan sidewalks, $45,000. Specifically, that is for the engineering component of proposed renovation to the existing sidewalks at Meteghan, as well as an extension to the sidewalks in preparation for the construction of the new seniors home. $45,000 would allow for engineering services to prepare us to go to tender on that project come late winter, early spring of 2021. Again, however, that is contingent on federal and provincial infrastructure funding. Another project which is contingent on infrastructure funding, and you've heard me talk about it on several occasions so far, is the Clare Veterans Center and a proposed second round of renovations to that facility. Total cost would be $800,000. Our share would be 27%, or $216,000. Below that, a recent addition was a few minor repairs to the roof and to the generator shed, but mostly to the paving of the parking lot. The paving is in need of some of repair. We've had quotes to repair the most urgent sections of the parking lot, of the pavement. So they came in at roughly $15,000, which is what we budgeted for in here. The landfill, we do have some work that needs to be done to the C&D site to cover, portion of the site and repair cells. We did go to tender late last winter, early spring, or late 2019. So we did receive 3 quotes, and once we pass a motion by council, we are prepared to move forward on that project. Road sewer laterals, again, this is risk mitigation in the case that we do have new sewer hookups and that we do have to allow for sewer laterals to permit those hookups to happen. We have budgeted $25,000 in this fiscal year, which we believe is sufficient for the construction of 3 to 5 sewer laterals, depending on the complexity. Below that is a project which was first earmarked for the previous fiscal year, but because of longer than expected delays in receiving confirmation of federal funding, the project was carried over to this fiscal year, and those are upgrades and renovations to the Havelock Community Center. The project is estimated at $50,000, and the municipality's share of that project is $25,000, or 50%. Over on the next page, this was discussed previously at council, is the municipality's participation in an asset management program or an asset management cohort. Municipalities are increasingly being asked to follow training and develop asset management plans. At some point, it is our belief that it will become a requirement in order to be able to access gas tax funding. So in order to prepare ourselves for that and essentially better manage our assets, we have signed up for that program. So taking the program will be myself, our Director of Finance, as well as our Public Works employee, Chelsea Mullen. The cost of the program is $7,500, and it is gas tax eligible. The next items are basically equipment requirements and upgrades required to our various wastewater treatment plants in the municipality. We have one in Meteghan, one in Belleville-Scove, and one in Church Point. These were discussed at length with council as well as the reasons why these items are required. Also a sign at the new Public Works garage, which is the former site of the St. Bernard Fire Department. So all in there, costs total $27,000. Continued work and maintenance and upgrades to the municipal building. We are looking at flooring downstairs. We've budgeted $25,000 for that. The flooring downstairs is in need of replacement. Other items are more relating to ongoing maintenance of the building. Total cost there, $36,850. The Meteghan Library, some sound dampening required there, so we were looking at acoustic panels to the tune of $2,000. The Clare Search and Rescue Building, which is owned by the municipality, just replacing in some existing pot lights and installing new ones, $800, so a very minor cost there. And finally, the Eco Park, the cost of a new roof to the main building, $29,100 to replace the existing roof, which is in need of repair with new metal roofing. That amount, however, should the sale of the site go through, will be reimbursed to the municipality as part of the purchase and sale agreement. So all things considered, we are looking for a budget proposing a total municipal contribution in capital projects of $1,562,355. That amount can be divided between the capital reserve contribution of $554,855 and a gas tax reserve contribution of $1,007,500. The large part of that being the $1 million investment in rural broadband. So if we go just down here to the bottom, we see our opening balance as of April 1st for both reserves. Keeping in mind that the gas tax reserve shows a balance of $999,656, which is lower than we usually show. The reason for that is we've already contributed our first installment to the rural internet project, which was a $600,000 contribution. So at the end, we have total budgeted amounts from each reserve, as I mentioned, $554,855, $1,007,500, for an end balance of $2,887,415 in the capital reserve, showing a slight deficit in the gas tax reserve. However, that's slightly misleading because there is a question of timing as to when our gas tax allocation for this fiscal will arrive. If we look at what we'll be receiving or what we project the top up will be to our capital reserve this year, where if we base ourselves on previous years and we appear to be consistent, we expect to be able to add at least $300,000 from our annual surplus to the capital reserve with council's permission, of course, which would put us at an end balance of $3,187,415, which is not very far off from where we started at the beginning of the year. If we look at our gas tax reserve, same thing, we're expecting to receive $368,000 and change this fiscal year, which would put us at the end of the year $360,790, which does allow us to manage our obligations under gas tax, especially for the rural internet project. So that, in a nutshell, is the capital budget. I'm not sure if there are any questions.
Any questions? Similar to the operational budget, we did go over it quite extensively at the Committee of Council, and there were quite a number of questions from council. So if there's anything new, any new questions, certainly I'm sure they can provide an answer. If there are no questions, then a motion to adopt the capital budget is in order. If somebody's prepared to make that motion.
I can make the motion.
Councillor DeVoe.
I move that the 2020-2021 capital budget, the screen just disappeared here. Just hold on. Capital budget, I have the French one here, for the municipality of the District of Clare be approved as presented on Wednesday, April the 15th, 2020.
Is there a seconder for that motion?
I'll second it.
Seconded by Councillor Hill. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay? Motion carried. Again, I just, on behalf of council, another good budget presented to council on the capital side. A lot of work that had to be done. It's, and the internet project obviously is the huge priority of the municipality. So well done with budget. So we'll go to number 11, CAO report.
Thank you. I'll try to keep this short. Just to highlight, as I usually do on a few files that we're currently working on. The Grand Fondo, which is obviously an important project to the municipality. As you may know, that the Terra Fondo, which was scheduled for June 6th, has been cancelled due to the COVID-19. The Grand Fondo is scheduled for September 20th, and as of yet hasn't been cancelled. The municipality will continue to monitor the situation and make its final decision in the coming months. To date, we have 186 participants that have registered. Earlier this year, we were ahead in terms of registrations compared to last year, but obviously in the past few weeks, with the situation being what it is, the registration numbers have dipped significantly. On a related note, Larry Peach, our tourism manager, is participating on an Events Nova Scotia advisory group, which is looking to grow event tourism throughout the province. But most recently, they're looking at how to mitigate the impacts of COVID-19 in an effort to salvage events where it's possible to do so safely, of course. Right now, and no surprise, social distancing requirements and corporate sponsorships remain a key challenge. Again, several businesses are going through challenging times, so the consensus around the table is it's difficult to go and ask for corporate sponsorships for events, regardless of what events they are. The Belleville Cove Wharf, there's been no significant change to that file since my report of March 2020. I'm meeting with the claims adjuster and the contractor next week to discuss the proposed repairs. So I hope to have more information for you at the committee of the whole meeting in the month of May. But the consensus seems to be a solution involving rocks rather than a wooden structure. The capacity assessment for the Meteghan wastewater treatment plant. We've received draft reports for both Meteghan and the Belleville Cove plant. These are currently being vetted by staff. A summary will be provided to council once the final reports are reviewed. But just based on a cursory review I did earlier today, it does appear that, especially for the Meteghan treatment plant, that we do have sufficient capacity to accommodate the existing infrastructure demands on the system, plus what we know will be happening in the next few years in terms of the construction of a new facility and possible additional hookups. So we appear to be good there. The Tourism Public Spaces Development Improvement Project, as Jeanette mentioned in her budget report, there's been no significant changes since my report on March 2020 other than the site visit to the Clare Veterans Center by Rad Architects. That happened on April 1st, 2020. So that piece of the project is progressing. We had consultations planned tentatively for mid-April. Those have been postponed indefinitely. We were hoping that these could be conducted safely in either May or June. Again, that may be premature. So we're currently exploring alternate delivery methods, including video conferencing, targeted consultations, etc. But I think in speaking with Larry, and both he and I agree, as well as the consultants, that we may have to delay those further down the road, just to make sure that those consultations and those discussions are meaningful and reflective of what we want to see at these sites. The Havelock Community Center work has begun this week. The estimated timeline for completion is 1 month. So I'm hopeful that we'll be able to stick to that timeline. Coming with Akayat, Again, a 3-year action plan was submitted to Immigration, Refugee, and Citizenship Canada in December 2019, with an expected commencement date of April 1st. The plan, along with our plan, along with those of the 13 other designated communities across Canada, has been sent for ministerial approval. I reported back on that a few months ago. A response was expected by the end of last fiscal, but again, speaking to IRCC, they signaled that the project would be delayed in light of the current circumstances surrounding COVID-19. However, indications thus far are that the project will nevertheless move forward. We're likely looking at a reduced time frame, so less than 3 years, but we're expecting that the contributions will remain unchanged. So same dollar amount, just a shortened time frame to implement those activities. The Echo Park, like I mentioned in the capital budget, the work on the new roof will be going this fiscal and actually is scheduled to commence next week. We're still trying to finalize the removal of the equipment with Delco. We've had challenges in reaching them. They haven't been responding to our correspondence or returning our calls. Ideally, we're hopefully an agreement can still be made for the immediate removal of the equipment. However, the current delays really are unacceptable, and they are negatively impacting our efforts to sell the site. So we're currently exploring our options. The derelict boat, or the boat that's currently being dismantled at Comoville Wharf, I know some of you are aware of it. We have received calls here as well, and I did speak at length with Councillor DeVoe on it also. The boat was being dismantled at the Comoville Wharf, has sunk. The owners of the boat are aware of the situation. Nova Scotia Environment has been briefed on the situation last week, and I'm told we'll be visiting the site if they haven't already. They've also mentioned that they would be reaching out to DFO and or the Coast Guard to address the situation, so I'm currently awaiting on an update for that. Moving forward, I'd like to find or get some clarification on the ownership of the wharf and how, if possible, similar instances can be prevented in the future. Because as you know, this is the second boat that we've been brought in to deal with. So hoping to avoid future situations like that. Financially, as of March 31st, 2020, the municipality had recorded $9,385,845 in revenues versus $8,909,839 in expenses, for a surplus of $456,006. Again, of March 31st, 2020, the municipality had a balance of $1,100,682 in its operating fund, $94,558 in its capital fund, and the total reserve balance of $5,224,916. That $5.2 million can be broken down as follows. Our operating reserve, $454,252. Our capital reserve, $3,442,270. Our landfill closure reserve, $328,738. And our gas tax reserve, $999,656. Again, on that last one, keeping in mind that our year one installment for rural broadband has been paid. Just internally, a couple of quick things. The Clare Health Center, the manager position, after an open staffing process, Chantal Poitier was hired on as the new manager of the Clare Health Center effective April 13th, 2020, and is now working closely with the current manager, Janice Prieto, as she transitions into the new role, so we wish her well. And finally, our municipal response to COVID-19, just a quick statement here, that the municipality of Clare continues to follow the situation very closely. Residents will be rapidly informed of any new measures that will be taken into effect. Please continue consulting the municipal website and Facebook page. These communication tools will be used for sharing information, all new information regarding COVID-19. For the most up-to-date information on COVID-19 and Nova Scotia's response, please visit www.novascotia.ca/coronavirus. And you can also read national information at www.canada.ca/en/public health services /diseases /coronavirus disease COVID-19. That is my report.
Merci. Are there any questions? Councillor Dillo, I think you're on mute.
Yes, I was. Sorry. I would like to add just a little bit for the boat at the wharf in Comoville. I have spoken to one of the owners since Mr. Sear and I spoke last. Their plans are still to do what they were doing with the boat. Their project is still on, even though the boat has sunk, as Mr. Sear mentioned. I do check on the boat almost daily. We're getting a lot of calls and emails and stuff about the boat. So anyway, I guess their plans are still as per previously said by them, and they're going to have to wait and see if there's other plans from other departments, I guess.
Thank you, Marcy. Any other questions? If not, we'll go to 12, committee reports, 12.1, building permits. Councillor Hill.
The building reports activity as of March 2019, there was 25 permits issued for a value of construction of $1,890,000. And as of March of 2020, there was also 25 permits issued with a value of construction of $1,584,000. Same amount of permits, just a little bit down on the construction.
Thank you. Any questions or comments? Seeing none, we'll go to 13, new business. 13.1, motion to write a letter of support, Meteghan Marina Association. Did you want to?
I can certainly give a bit of context. The municipality, or I was approached by a representative of the Meteghan Marina Association. The group is in the process of submitting a funding application to the federal government, more specifically ACOA, for the construction of recreational wharves in Meteghan. As part of their request, or as part of their application to ACOA, they were hoping to include a letter of support from the municipality. To show that there is support at the council level. They are not asking for financial contributions, just simply a letter in principle stating our support for the project.
So if council is in agreement, a motion would be in order.
I can make it.
I'll make the motion. Oh, sorry.
Yeah.
I move that the council for the municipality of the District of Clare write a letter to the Meteghan Marina Association in support of its funding application to ACOA for the construction of new wharfs for recreational boating.
The seconder for that motion. Councillor Hill?
Yeah, I'll second it.
Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. We'll go to 13.2, motion to accept proposed amendment, occupational health and safety policy.
We have been working, and we had a meeting with the Department of Labor and Advanced Education as part of a pilot program that they're currently undertaking, reviewing municipal practices as they relate to occupational health and safety. And the driving force behind that is to make sure that the occupational health and safety programs at the municipal level are up to par or compliant with the current legislation. So we had our first meeting with representatives from both the Department of Labor and Advanced Education as well as the Workers' Compensation Board. In terms of what it is that's required of us, any recommendations they had. So it's an ongoing project, and we'll be working closely with them, I imagine, for weeks to come. The first part was essentially a proposed amendment to our OHS policy. We currently have an OHS policy. It was developed through consultation with our lawyers. In terms of when that was presented to Labor and Advanced Education, what they saw in there was that it exceeded what's currently required in terms of a policy. It leaned more, a lot of the content was more something that you would find in an OHS program, which is something we have to develop as well. So the recommendation there was that we carve out a portion for the policy and the rest be incorporated as part of an OHS program, a formally documented program, which will soon follow. So what I'm presenting here tonight for council's approval is what staff is recommending, as well as what Labor and Advanced Education is recommending as well, of what a proper OHS or occupational health and safety policy should be. It's essentially a fairly generic statement if you go through it, essentially saying what we've always practiced, that the municipality of Clare as an employer is, believes that it's important to ensure the health and safety of its employees and will certainly act accordingly if circumstances present themselves where that health and security is brought into question. So with that said, we're proposing the amendment to our existing occupational health and safety policy as presented tonight.
So somebody prepared to make a motion? Deputy Warden? You're on mute. You're on mute.
Am I on mute?
No, there you go.
Good. Very good. I move that the Council for the Municipality of District of Clare accept the proposed amendment to the municipality's occupational health and safety policy as presented.
A seconder for that motion.
I'd like to second that motion.
Seconded by Councillor Devo. Any discussion on the motion? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Contrary, nay. Motion carried. 13.3, motion to award tender mowing and maintenance of ball field, soccer field, and grounds.
A few weeks ago, our recreation department issued a tender, as we do every 3 years, for the maintenance and the mowing of our ball fields and soccer fields and grounds. We did it slightly different this year in that we consolidated a number of we're essentially just consolidating the municipal properties into 2 tenders. The first tender, which is the one we're speaking to tonight, groups together all parks, ball fields, and soccer fields for ease of management on our end. That being said, the tender was advertised. We received 3 bids, local bids and 1 from Yarmouth. In reviewing of the bids, it's staff's recommendation that the contract be awarded to M. Michele Enterprises Limited in the amount of $9,500 plus HST per year for a total of $28,500 plus HST.
Somebody prepared to move that motion?
I can move that motion.
Councillor Devo?
I
I'll
move
make
that
the
the
motion.
I move that the Council for the Municipality of the District of Clare award the tender for the mowing and maintenance of ball fields, soccer fields, and grounds to M. Michele Enterprise Limited in the amount of $9,500 plus HST per year for the next 3 years, for a total of $28,500 plus HST.
There a seconder for that motion? Councillor Hill? Is there a seconder for that motion?
I'll second that.
Seconded by Councillor Tebow. Any discussion or debate on the motion?
I'll second it.
I just have a question here. It's Brian.
Yeah.
Does that include, Stefan, does that include Wentworth Park?
It does, yes.
Okay, good.
Any other questions or comments? All in favor indicate by saying aye.
All right,
Aye.
Contrary, nay. Motion carried.
I'd just like to say for council's information, a second RFP will be issued for mowing services as well, looking at our buildings throughout the municipality, more specifically, the municipal office here in Littlebrook, the health center in Meteghan, the cultural hub in Comoville, and the Veterans Center in Sonyville. The rationale for that was that it was felt that it was too big a contract to be awarded to one individual. It was felt that it would be best to tender it as part of two separate contracts.
All right, so that we're going number 14, closed session. We only have one item in the closed session, rural internet. So there's no other business after that to discuss. So motion to go in camera. Is anybody ready to move that?
Proposed.
Moved by Deputy Warden Dusa, seconded by Councillor LeBlanc. All in favor indicate by saying aye.
all right.
Contrary, nay.
Aye.
Motion carried. Good night.
Good night.
That's usually that.